jump back to the first point of, some of the most common symptoms. Let's say your dryer's not heating. Definitely the first thing you want to check is, does it come on? Does it light up? Does the inside light come on when you open the door? If it seems like it's completely dead, check your breaker. A lot of times it'll just trip the breaker. When you check your breaker, don't just look at it, because there's times when it'll trip, but the actual switch won't flip. And so you want to find the breaker for your dryer, turn it off, and turn it back on. See if that works. I've definitely had that fix it a few times. So let's say the breaker's good, you still don't have any power. If you do have any type of multimeter, even a $5 multimeter from Lowe's or something, to check the AC voltage in your plug, you're either going to have 3 holes in the plug or you're going to have 4 holes in the plug. And what you want to check is, you want to check either from the left or the right hole, and you want to put your other one either on the top or the bottom. So it doesn't matter. So if you stick one of your meter leads into the left, stick the other meter lead into the top, wiggle it around, stick it into the bottom, wiggle it around, see if you get 110 or higher voltage. Either side, it doesn't matter. If that 110 is present, then that means your dryer should turn on. When you go from the left to the right, no matter if it's a 3 or 4 prong, you should have somewhere around 220 volts AC. If you don't have 220 volts AC, your dryer's not going to heat. There's cases where your dryer will turn on, the lights will come on, it'll spin, you don't have any heat because you're missing the 220. The lights, the motor, all of that only requires 110. So it's possible to only lose part of the power going to the dryer. And it'll seem like it's working. Maybe it's an element, it's not. You've got an electric problem. No matter what's going on with your dryer, that's always a good place to start. You don't even have to turn a screw to do it.
In that case, would trying other plugs and stuff be a good idea?
It would. It's just that's going to be the only plug that you have that's shaped like that because of the special shape of a dryer plug.
Right, yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, so you're kind of hostage there to trying that. With the meter, it's safe to stick that in there and check it. And you can even, again, kind of watch a YouTube video on it if someone's unsure. Let's say you've checked it, you've got power, you're good to go, and the unit's not heating. So you turn it on. Of course, the other thing you want to check, some of the newer dryers, and especially Samsung, they have an eco dry feature. And so that eco dry, it'll essentially run for X amount of time without even activating the heating element. So let's say you moved your dryer out, you unplugged it to do something, clean behind it, you plug it back in, and you notice it's not heating like it should. Make sure that the eco dry is not selected. If it's not something you chose before, because that's an easy thing that may be causing it. But most of the time, if all of that checks okay and the dryer's not heating at all, then you're looking at the heating element and the fuses associated with it. One really good place to go to find a breakdown of your dryer and kind of see what's inside, Sears Parts Direct. If you enter your model number there, you could see a whole breakdown of the dryer, all of the part numbers. It's a resource I always use. I don't normally buy from them because they're pretty expensive. I usually take the part number and put it on eBay or Amazon and get it for fourth of the price. The other most common thing for a dryer not heating is they'll say, well, it's not heating, and then come to find out it's getting hot, but it's not drying the clothes. 95% of the time, if your dryer is getting hot, but it's not heating the clothes, it's because of a ventilation issue. Essentially, the way your dryer works, when you turn it on, a motor gets power, it spins the drum, which spins the blower wheel, which pulls the air over the heating element through your clothes and out the exhaust. As the clothes get hot, it forces the moisture from the clothes. But the thing about it is, if you have any kind of blockage, that moisture doesn't have anywhere to go. So it essentially stays in the dryer. So you're steaming your clothes rather than actually drying your clothes. Most of the time, that blockage is going to be where your dryer vent connects to the wall, especially if where it's coming out of your house is just on the other side of the wall. It's going to be something easy like a bird tried to build a nest in there. The vent on the outside got stuck closed, so it's not opening automatically. Really quick, easy fix. You clear it out, your clothes are drying fine. If, like most houses now, the dryer vent actually goes through the roof, not everybody wants to just get a ladder and hop up there right away to see how that vent looks. So the best way to check if your dryer is heating but it's not drying your clothes, or you've got to run it 2, 3, 4 times for it to dry, just take your dryer vent off your wall, run a load of clothes where you just have the vent, blowing in your laundry room. And if it dries in one run, for sure the problem starts at the wall where it hooks up and is in the roof, it's in the vent, it's somewhere like that. But that's a really quick, easy, cheap way to check if it's your dryer or if it's your ventilation.
When we started working together and you were reviewing our articles, I remember you mentioning a sort of trick to test if the air is flowing out of the exhaust with holding down the switch on a piece of paper to see if it would be pulled towards the vent.
Yes, for sure. So this, there could be some variables where this isn't always accurate, but if it does work, you do have good ventilation. You get a piece of paper, nothing super thick, not a postcard or anything, just, a piece of paper. You open your door, you select a cycle. You may need a third hand because you've got to hold your door switch shut so it thinks the door's shut. And you've got to hit the start button. As the dryer's running, if you hold that piece of paper near where your lint trap is, there should be enough airflow where it's going to try to suck that piece of paper towards where your lint trap is. If you get real close and it's not even sucking that piece of paper, then yeah, you definitely have a ventilation issue. To even further test that, you could then go take the vent off the wall, try that paper test again, and you should notice a difference.